Okay, and we are live, and I am so excited. I am thrilled to have with us today Gaynor Carrillo. How are you, Gaynor?
I'm good, thank you very much. Very good, thank you.
Amazing. I'm so thrilled to have you here.
And I'm
And
glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here.
my pleasure, my pleasure. And today we're going to be talking about at leveling your marketing game with Gaynor. And the reason, Gaynor, I invited you to this interview for our community, it's because I'm going to tell you a little story. And this is the last year I started to get very interested into tarot.
Mm.
This is something that it caught my attention since almost since I was like a teenager. I always felt attracted by things that are spiritual. In fact, my path eventually became the yoga and the wellness. But I'm always felt attracted to mystical things. And so last summer I got this awakening with tarot. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And the more I was starting to learn about it, the more I fascinated I was. And of course, looking into the internet, looking for content on YouTube about tarot, I came across your channel. And I instantly fell in love with you,
Oh,
Gaynor.
thank
And I know this may sound a little bit strange, especially for those of or yoga teachers sometimes that create a YouTube channel or a podcast and they start sharing content. Sometimes we may have the impression that there is a little bit of silence and perhaps people are not very engaged, but actually it's not always the case, because you cannot imagine like how many hours of your content I've been already watching.
Oh, wow.
Um, yes, because I really love the way. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I was saying that I really like the way you explain things, and I felt really connected. But before we dive into our interview today, Gaynor, I would like for you to let us know who are you, who is Gaynor Carrillo, and what's the work that you do.
okay, well, thank you very much, and thank you for consuming my content. And that's really true what you've just said. So many people consume my content, and they're not so engaged on the actual internet, but like on Instagram, YouTube, or even on Facebook, they're not so engaged. However, when they do come to me, they'll often say what you've said. I've been following you for so long, and I've consumed all your content, and now I'm ready to be part of it. So I'm ready to join the school. And what I have a spiritual school called the Spiritual Success School. In Spanish is La Escuela de Éxito Espiritual. And that's where
Mhm.
I teach all spiritual arts, magical living, spiritual arts, spiritual businesses. And I also mentor spiritual business owners and also mediums and tarot readers. So that's me. That's me. I've got a spiritual skill.
Amazing. And one of the things that I also noticed and I really felt connected, and I'm sure many of our yoga teachers in this community will feel connected about that. And perhaps we're going to talk about this towards the end of the interview, is the fact that you are bilingual and
Hmm.
you run a business in both English and Spanish.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I don't run a business in English and Spanish. And I think this is a misconception of many people when they go to do a
Mhm.
bilingual business. It doesn't become one business with two languages, it becomes two separate businesses. Okay. So,
Mhm.
really, I have two separate businesses. I have an English business and a Spanish business. And that means
Wow.
that I have two of everything. So I have two Instagram accounts, two Facebook accounts, two YouTube accounts, two school platforms, two different
Mhm.
different types of marketing. Everything I do, to a certain
Mhm.
extent, I have to do twice because
Mhm.
it's not impossible, but it's very hard just to have the same business for different languages on the same
Mhm.
platform. It's very, very hard to
Mhm.
do because you'll find that you won't be able to put the same offers on at the same time. You won't be able to have the same
mm,
products at the same time. For example,
mm,
my mediumship course that I have now, I have in video format. I also have
mm,
a learn. I also have a tarot course for tarot professionals in video
mm,
format. I haven't done that in English yet. So I
mm, mhm.
on the platform marketing about that if I had English clients there, but I don't have the course in English. So
Mhm.
so yeah, it has to be really when you're growing a business, two separate businesses, two
Yeah,
separate channels. And obviously it's
yeah,
twice the work.
yeah. It's twice the work. It's also twice the reach.
Oh,
That's the good side, I guess.
definitely.
Yeah.
And also there's a lot of things you have to choose. For example, my priority in Spanish is my
Mm,
YouTube. That's where I reach most of my public is through
mm.
my books and through my YouTube channel. Whereas in English, I will reach the majority of my clientele through my books. And my YouTube channel is kind of abandoned. It's not a priority. So you have different priorities when it's in different languages also.
That's very interesting, Gaynor, that you shared that. And my experience sometimes it's that even though I'm working with two languages with yoga teachers. It's basically the same niche. They are yoga teachers, but I've noticed that in Spanish and in English they do have different levels of awareness.
Yeah.
For instance, I understand when I work with English speaking yoga and wellness professionals, they are more. It seems like they are more ready to work on their business, and they don't have necessarily issues with making money out of teaching yoga. While I notice in my Spanish communities, there's a little bit more of, I don't know if this is cultural or something, especially in Spain, there is a little bit more of, I don't know if it's dogma or there's a little bit more of a stigma. That's the word I'm looking for,
Mm,
with earning money doing something spiritual. And
yeah.
I think this is stupid because, I mean, this is my short answer is like, basically you are shooting yourself in the foot. Like
Yeah.
if you want to make a living out of your passion, but you're gonna be like kind of sabotaging yourself, saying that making marketing is not spiritual. I think you are shooting yourself in your foot.
Hmm.
But talking about marketing, because I think people have many misconceptions about marketing, and I think you are the perfect example, Gaynor, to bring people to let people understand what is marketing. Because one thing that I notice about your marketing is that you make it fun and authentic.
Hmm.
And this is what yoga teachers in this group, they really are looking forward to. It's to make their marketing fun and authentic. So my next question for you would be, how do you infuse fun and authenticity into marketing your spiritual business?
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, that's really a very, very good question. And just going back, to what you've just said about the money side, just to kind of let your readers know about that, that's so true. If you've got a bilingual business, for example, a lot of people in America, they don't mind charging, they don't have issues with charging money, where a lot of people in Spain will have issues about charging money, but the English are often really bad at that. So it depends on the country, which is why it's a good idea to have two different businesses instead of trying to put everybody in the same business. But also when it comes to money, and you're saying about spiritual people not not valuing the product, it seems to only be that people will call you spiritual if you're giving them away for free. So if I've got a product that I give for you for free or very, very cheap, and it's a spiritual product, then I'm a very spiritual person. However, if I've got a
Mm,
product which is the same product, but I've got a high price tag on it because I believe that's its value, then I'm no longer spiritual, I'm commercial. And when
mm,
people judge you on the prices that you choose, they don't judge you because they think you're not worth it. They judge you because they think they're not worth it. Okay.
Mm,
And that's
mhm,
something to
mhm,
really take in mind. They see that the product you have and the price you have, they're not worth it, not that you're not worth it.
mm,
So always when you're
mm,
focusing your price, focus your price on you and what reflects you and
mm,
what you need and what you value your product at. Other people
mm,
can't value your product. You have to be the one that values your product first. When it comes to marketing
mhm,
and making it fun, your marketing and authentic, your marketing should always reflect who you are. And if you're not a fun person, then you won't ever be able to pull that off. You can't pretend to be a
mhm,
fun person when you're marketing.
mm,
For example, there
mhm,
is a lot of people that like to go inner. They do inner work, they do shadow work, they work on traumas, they work on past
mm,
events, they have
mm,
dramatic long days, and they express that in the marketing, and that works really well for them and it comes across really well. I know quite a few spiritual people who do that, and it's all very dramatic and long and intense and emotional, and they have a really
mm,
good following because people connect with that. If I tried to
mm,
do that, that would never work because that's not
mm,
me.
mhm.
I am a fun
Right.
person. I am a funny
Mm,
person. I love
mm,
to laugh. I'm always laughing. I don't go deep into past life issues or past issues or traumas or emotional things. I'm focused on how to manifest, how to progress. So when you're doing your marketing, first you need to find out who you are. And once you know who
mm,
you are you a serious person? Are you a fun person? Are you a combination of both? Are you, for example, I'm very fun, but I'm also 100% professional, really professional.
mm,
I don't need to
mhm,
be serious, but I do need to be professional. Professional to me is my number one priority. But of course, I am fun.
mm,
So when you're doing your marketing, first you need to know what kind of person you are, which is why they say to be able to market, first you have to take your clothes off, become naked, and
mm,
find your inner
mm,
self. When you know who you are,
mm,
it's really easy to be authentic because all you're doing is sharing what's on your mind today, what you want to tell your clients today, what you want to say to your community today. You're just sharing. That's it. You're sharing.
mm.
So if
Yeah.
you try to be fun, it won't work if you're not a fun person. If you try to be deep
Mhm.
and you're not a deep person, it won't work. It should reflect who you are.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you frame this because it's true. Not everyone needs to be fun in their marketing because yeah, maybe fun is maybe it's not who you are.
Exactly.
um,
And I think
yeah, yeah,
sometimes we
yeah.
try to copy other styles, which is normal when
Mm,
we're starting because we don't know who we are. But you can see when
yeah,
it comes across as fake. When you see somebody who's trying to be maybe classy, and they're not classy people, they're normal people with
right.
very little, they don't have that class, but they try and bring it across. And then you can see something's not working in the marketing. It's
Yeah.
because that they're not who they are. Somebody may try to be funny and they're not funny,
Mm,
or somebody who may
mm,
try to say, like my thing was always I'm lazy when it comes to certain things. I've got a lot better with that. So I always try and find the easiest way and not the complicated
mm,
way. So everything I do is easy.
mhm,
And that from
mm,
day one.
mhm,
From day one has always been something I've tried to express. When somebody says something to me, in my head, I'm thinking, how can I make this easier? How do I do this easier?
mm,
So I've always tried to
mm,
explain things easily. And also with me, I do kind of see that I'm imperfect, and that's okay. That's okay. And I'm okay about sharing that. I'm okay to say, hey, today I've had a shit day. Or it's okay to say, hey, you know what? I am a spiritual person doing the best I can, but I've also got these faults. My hero story is because we should all have our hero story when we're marketing. My hero story
mhm,
is the fact that I was doing spiritual work, mediumship tarot for many years without understanding business. So what happened
mm,
was, I actually went bankrupt. I went bankrupt. I was so poor I couldn't afford to keep the electric on. Never mind find the light.
mm,
And so
mm,
my hero story is how to combat not being successful when you're living a
mm,
spiritual path, and how to balance that. I had children, I had a
mm,
husband, I had a house, I had bills. I was working as a tarot reader and a medium, and I had no money. So I
mm,
learned, thanks to spirit and the universe, how to how to take this into business and how to change poverty to abundance. That's now my hero
Mm,
story. And that's kind of what you'll always see me talking about, because I want you
mm,
to do it
mm,
easy. I want you to have abundance. I want you to turn your hero story into a success story, which is why my skill's called the spiritual success skill. It's not a tarot skill. It's not a mediumship skill. It's not
mm.
a school of one thing. It's a school about you, spiritual success, finding people's spiritual success. So when you're aligned your business with your hero story and you're just expressing who you are, that's when you attract clients.
Amazing, amazing. I love that you bring in the hero's journey, because this is something that I agree with you. I agree. We need to keep that in mind as we craft all of our marketing content and all of our story or website. Hero's journey is something that will help people connecting with you, but also understanding that you are also a human, and that you know, and that you have overcome something that they are going through right now. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that.
That's fine.
And yes, absolutely agree with you. And one thing you also mentioned, which actually take us to the next question, Gaynor, because you say that you don't care so much about making things perfect. And actually, this is one of the things I've noticed when I was watching your YouTube videos, when I was watching your content. And of course, the content is really good, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, for me, when I look for someone to learn from, I just get to resonate with people that tells me something uh, that I really understand. Okay, I like to learn things like when the teacher break the things down, and that's your approach. I noticed that you like to break things down and to explain things like if I was a 3-year-old guy. So that was really helpful. But one of the things that I thought they were brilliant actually, it was the fact that you do. I'm talking about the Spanish content because I was mainly watching the Spanish content. But you do have an accent, as I do have an accent for English. You do have an accent when you speak in Spanish. You do have an accent, and sometimes you do mistakes. And I love that you are like, your attitude is like, I don't care. I'm who I am. I do have an accent, and this is not something that is gonna stop me for going forward. Can
Mhm.
you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, about perfectionism, that actually goes in two ways because, in a way, I am a perfectionist. And this may sound very contradictory, but when it comes to my client journey, that's where I put all my energy and all my focus. I try and I obsess, maybe even too much, of making sure that my client's journey with me is as perfect as possible. So I actually do things the extra mile. I'll give more, I'll do more, I'll create more, I'll perfection something so well because I put myself in my clients' connection with me, and I want them to have the perfect journey with me. Yeah. So when it comes
Hmm.
to the sales part and being with my clients, I am a perfectionist, and too much so. Sometimes I may spend a whole day doing one little thing just so my client has a better experience. But when it comes to me and what I'm sharing, there's so many imperfections in me, so many of them, that I knew very early on I had different options. The first option was to do nothing, not to show myself, because I don't speak Spanish perfectly. I do have an accent. I mess up so many words in Spanish. I often have too much weight, or I've got a weight thing going on. And a million other things I can put on there, which could scare me from going onto YouTube and being social and being public. Or the other option was to say, that's who I am, embrace it. This is who I am. And actually, what I did is I thought, okay, what is the best thing that can happen and what's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen was that nothing changed, nothing, and that my business didn't grow and nothing changed. The best thing that could happen if I continued going public was that lots of people got to know me and I sold more things. I didn't have the option in the middle where something bad was going to happen. I don't try
Hmm.
and I don't try and think of the worst scenarios, like something bad's going to happen. The worst scenario is that nothing happens. I don't need to go to a dramatic place in my mind where something terrible is going to happen. So when you think of
Right.
like the good and the worst, then the good outdoes it. And when I first started my YouTube channel, which was by accident, by the way, but when I did start putting more videos on, I kept getting the same thing from people. People kept saying to me, "You're so funny. Oh, we had such a laugh. Oh, I watched your video. It was so funny. Thank you. Ha ha ha." And at first, I kept saying to my son, "Why do people keep saying I'm so funny? Because that wasn't funny. That bit was really serious. I don't get why do they say it was funny? Because I am funny, but when I was doing these certain things, it wasn't. It was just me talking." But people picked up on that because your authentic character will always shine, always.
Right.
So people were just
Mm.
connecting with me, who I am. And people know they can have a laugh with me. I don't get offended with all things. I don't think people are on a mission. I don't think people are envious of me. I don't think all these things about other people. So
Right.
I'm just like reflecting who I am. And when a business does that, when the owner of the business is just who they are, and like, this is me, you'll see that the clients reflect that. They'll
Mhm.
reflect. That's why people say to me, "I feel so comfortable contacting you." It's like, because I
Mm.
know you.
Yeah.
I feel like I know you. I had a woman write to me the other day and she said, Gaynor, you don't know me, but I really, really love you. You mean so much to me. I pray for you in my prayers at
Mm.
night because for like over a year you've changed my life. And this woman I've
Yeah.
never heard of before, but
Wow. Yeah.
the thing she was writing was so intense. But then she said, "I feel so comfortable writing this to you because I know that we connected." And as I was reading it, I was thinking, yeah, we are connected. I could feel it too. When you get this
Yeah.
connection with your clients, you don't need to be 24 hours saying, "Hi, how are you doing?
Mm.
What's going on?" through your social or
Mm.
being on top of each other. You just need to be present and be you.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. The power also of of course being yourself and talking to your people as if they were friends, but also the magic of technology, like allowing people to connect with your true essence through the content that you are putting
Hmm.
online. Okay, we're gonna move to my last question, Gaynor. And I know we talked about that at the beginning of the interview. I know we touched upon that, but perhaps there are any other insights that you might want to share about. I say before running a bilingual business, but you clarify that it's not running a bilingual business, that it's running two different businesses. So maybe that's the first insight, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely the first insight. Yeah, first of all, I think the good thing would be to prioritize if you do want to run a bilingual business, or if you want to start with one business and then open up the doors to another business. But with me, I was already doing it in two different languages. So for years, I had
Mm.
readings in Spanish and in English, and I was doing this, I was doing the business in both anyway. But when I opened the school, I knew that it couldn't just be one skill. It had to be two skills.
Mm.
And I knew
Mm.
that meant that it would have to be double of everything. And I was okay with that. I was
Mm.
accepting that because
Mm.
I weighed it up and it was like, wow, the benefits are double.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
work's double, everything's double, but the benefits are also double. So I was okay with
Mm.
that. And also, I didn't want to disconnect from my English community because I have a huge English clientele, and I certainly didn't want to connect from my Spanish clientele. So I didn't
Mm.
have an option in my
Mm.
mind. It was the right thing to do. However, when you do a bilingual business, one thing that the mistake a lot of people make is they think they can say the same thing and translate it. And then it works.
Mm.
And that very, very rarely works. It doesn't
Yeah.
work because uh, people want different things from different countries. So, for example, mediumship in Spain now, my mediumship in Spain, it's taken me a long time to really push mediumship into mainstream. And now the
Mm.
Spanish they've jumped on the bandwagon, and now that my sales of my mediumship, obviously
Mm.
they've grown tremendously because
Mm.
I was already there when the mediumship became
Yeah.
popular in Spain. Yeah,
Yeah.
internet popular in Spain. I was already there because
Mm.
years ago, for the last 25
Mm.
years, I've been doing courses in the UK and America anyway on
Mhm.
that. So the
Mhm.
time was
Mhm.
different. And you'll find that
Yeah.
one thing may follow the other. So Spain may follow the UK or vice
Yeah.
versa. If you're just
Yeah.
translating the same thing, then you might not be at the right time. So you're going to lose potential clients. Also, the other
Yeah.
thing is people are coming from different mindsets. And
Yeah.
like I said previously, you'll have services. For example, my professional tarot course in Spain is a really fantastic course. It's a video course, and obviously I work a lot with my clients. My mentorship in Spain for spiritual businesses, I do that in a way that is slightly different than I do with the American or the UK public, because they're
Mm.
on different levels. Translating may not always work, but also it will put a lot of pressure on you to make sure you do double of everything today.
Mm.
Because you'll think,
Mhm.
oh, if an English client sees this and I don't have it, then I have to make sure I've got it because they may see it.
Mm.
Imagine if I put
Mm.
on an offer for my professional tarot course on
Mm.
one network, so one Instagram,
Mm.
one Facebook, one
Mm.
YouTube for everybody, but I don't have that product in English yet because I haven't had the time to
Mm.
make it, then I'm actually
Mhm.
causing my business problems instead of making my
Yeah.
business grow. So this way I can focus, and I know what my English clients like, and I know what my Spanish clients like. So
Mhm.
you get to know your clients. So
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah. And
the
they probably are in different stage of the journey.
sorry.
Okay, Gaynor, where can, for the yoga teachers that are watching this live and perhaps they want to connect with you, perhaps they want to know more about you, where can we find you?
Anyway, if you just go to gaynorcarrillo.com, you'll come to my webpage, and that's where I have everything. Or you can go to my school. In Spanish, it's La Escuela de Éxito Espiritual. In English, it's the Spiritual Success School. And so just type me in, just Google me, and there I'll come in both English or Spanish, in any language that you want.
Amazing. Well, I like to thank you one more time for your time and for sharing these wonderful tips with our community. And yeah, thank you so much, Gaynor. Is there
Well, thank you
anything
so much,
else that you
and
would
I wish
like to
you
add?
all good luck. Whatever it is that you do here, you do yoga retreats for people, yeah?
Say that again.
What do you do on this Facebook group? It's retreats for yoga people.
Yes, we in this Facebook group we tend to talk about marketing and business, but mainly oriented toward retreats. Because the
Okay.
goal of many of the yoga teachers that are in this group, they would like to run a retreat in the future. However, as you know, in order to a retreat, it's just another service that a yoga teacher can provide. Of course, it's very different. It could be a course, or very different that it could be a workshop, because it involves also the traveling and so many other things to take into account. But actually, as you know, Gaynor, the base for being able to sell your retreats, it's to work on your marketing message, to work on your hero's journey, and to do all of the marketing work that is required for any business that you need to make. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, good luck to you all. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Gaynor. One day we're gonna come and see you because I know you are in Benidorm, right?
I am, yeah, I'm in Benidorm, a lovely Benidorm. Yeah. Mm.
Amazing.
I'm
My
originally
parents love to
from
go there.
Manchester in the UK. I'm originally from Manchester, but I've lived in
You're
Benidorm
from
now.
Manchester.
Mm.
Okay, okay, amazing. My parents love Benidorm, so one day probably if I go there, I will connect with you.
Oh, fantastic. Well, here I am. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
well,
having me on your channel. Thank you so much.
my pleasure. Thank you so much, Gaynor. Have a lovely
Thank
day.
you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.